When we posted the preview video for the FA Cup final, many people said that United had no chance against Manchester City. But as I've said before, there are two things in life that are extremely difficult to predict: the psychology of women and the outcomes of Manchester United's matches. Everyone believed that the world's strongest team, Manchester City, would annihilate a weak, inferior side, expecting a thrashing with 3 goals. However, Pep Guardiola and his squad ended up disappointing quite a few people after the FA Cup final. As for Manchester United, today will be the day the entire world talks about them. The blue sky serves only as a backdrop for the red flowers. After a season filled with criticism and mockery in the very last match, Manchester United emerged like a giant awakening from a slumber and won convincingly. A type of victory that even their fans didn't dare to believe in. Without further ado, let's dive into the emotional FA Cup final that took place last night. Man City did not face major personnel issues, except for the absence of goalkeeper Ederson due to an eye socket fracture, allowing Pep Guardiola to field his preferred lineup. Compared to their 3-1 victory over West Ham in the Premier League, City made 3 changes in their starting. The central defensive pair was completely revamped with Stones and Ake replacing Dias and Akanji. Additionally, Kovacic was added to the midfield to enhance their control of the central area. To counter the powerful opposition, United's coach Erik ten Hag didn't have many choices due to a persistent injury crisis and performance issues. Fortunately, Raphael Varane recovered in time, allowing United to field what is considered their best central defensive duo in Varane and Lisandro Martinez. However, this would be Varane's last match in the red shirt, as both parties agreed not to extend his contract. Rashford also returned to the starting lineup after missing 6 consecutive games since the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton. United had continuously lost to City in recent encounters. Last year's FA Cup final saw United bow out to City, but this year, despite greater difficulties, Ten Hag approached the match very wisely. He did not use Rashford as a traditional striker, meaning United had no centre-forward. Instead, they had more players in front of the goal thanks to the return of Varane and Martinez, which seemed to transform United. These 2 players not only made decisive tackles, but also contributed to ball progression, helping United avoid the mistakes they often made at home. United's style was not about defensive holding to force penalties, they defended proactively. Occasionally, United's formation quickly pushed forward to press in the opponent's half, causing some mistakes from City's blue side under United's scientific play. City, surprisingly, struggled despite having stars like Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. Their combinations were off, not sharp enough to penetrate United's dense defence. It wasn't until the 36th minute that City had their first shot on target, which Onana easily saved. United deserved their reward for their performance from the start. In the 30th minute, Dalot launched a long pass to Garnacho. It seemed like City's defence would easily neutralise the situation when Gvardiol controlled Garnacho. However, the Croatian defender mistakenly headed back without noticing Ortega rushing out, allowing Garnacho to intercept and score into an empty net. A dramatic twist for City's most expensive summer 2023 signing, Gvardiol, who had been embarrassed by Messi in the 2022 World Cup and now faced a similar fate by another Argentine, Garnacho. 3 minutes later, in the 39th minute, City's net shook again. Garnacho exploited City's high defensive line, broke free and crossed perfectly for Rashford to tap in, but the goal was disallowed for offside. City fans sighed in relief. Throughout this season, they hadn't felt such pressure, even against Real Madrid, Liverpool or Arsenal. United was putting Ortega's goal on high alert. Guardiola surely wanted halftime to arrive quickly to wake his players from their Premier League triumph celebrations, but it was too late. United recognised City's vulnerability and seized the opportunity to extend their lead. It was hard to believe how accurately United's attackers made their decisions today. Rashford delivered a precise long pass to the opposite wing, akin to Toni Kroos, setting Garnacho up for another one-on-one, and the Croatian defender seemed intimidated by Argentine dribblers. Garnacho didn't try to finish, but passed to Bruno Fernandes, who had been scanning for space. Bruno's delicate pass opened up a wide-open shot for 19-year-old Kobbie Mainoo, who raised the score to 2-0. United was in form, with their play reaching the highest level. Who could believe this was the same team that lost 0-4 to Crystal Palace last month? It wasn't until the 55th minute that City had their first significant threat. Doku, coming on at the start of the second half, actively disrupted United's right wing. On one occasion, he beat Wan-Bissaka and crossed for Haaland, whose first-time shot hit the crossbar. Guardiola refreshed his attack by bringing Julian Alvarez for De Bruyne. Despite good positioning, Alvarez missed 2 clear chances, notably when he received Foden's through ball but shot wide. In the 87th minute, City pulled one back through Doku, who dribbled across United's box and shot into the near corner. Onana was slow to react despite getting a hand to it. However, there wasn't enough time for City to stage a comeback. Frustration was evident, even for a seasoned player like Kyle Walker, who got tangled in Lisandro Martinez's antics. City's mentality and tactics were inferior to United's in this match, shocking many experts. After the final whistle, Ten Hag celebrated with each United player. Varane waved to the United fans in his farewell match, while Rashford, teary-eyed, was consoled by Casemiro. All of them had faced much criticism, but in an improbable situation, they played a match to remember. This season has been peculiar for United. They spent significantly in the transfer market, yet a record 60 injuries wrecked their plans. Nevertheless, when it seemed all was lost, they defeated the strongest opponent to secure a Champions League spot and the FA Cup. Perhaps this outcome makes the season a success for United and gives them hope for the next one.